Just a very short a note on one of the questions that I always had, and I think that all of the listeners will have as well, is why isn't Kotchim and Taharas mentioned in the Aseret HaDibros? Now we came from Shavuos, and one of the questions is that it's only some mitzvahs that seemingly has been Udal Mamukha. I'm not going to go into that. Personally, I don't believe that, but personally, I think it's all been Udal Machavera. But why isn't at least Kotchim and Taharas being part and Zroim? I mean, a lot of, but specifically Kotchim and Taharas are not being mentioned in the mitzvahs of the Aseret HaDibros. I think, if I may say so, when you think about the structure of the Kedusha, so we all know that Eretz Yisrael is holier than all the other countries. There's a famous Mishnah, maybe in Kelim, I don't remember, in one of Mishnah in Taharas, then for Eretz Yisrael is holier, Yerushalayim is holier, Mitzvah is not allowed to enter in Yerushalayim, and in all cities at Abachoimo, and then you have the Arabais, Toma Yosef Mikufa is not allowed to enter the Arabais, then you have the Azor, where Udutmeim are not allowed to enter, then you have the Heichol, where Israel is not allowed to enter, and then you have the Kodesh HaKadoshim, that only Kohen Gadol is allowed to enter only once a year by Yom Kippur. All these Kedushas that are increasing, of course, is the Kodesh HaKadoshim as the holiest place. Now, what makes the Kodesh HaKadoshim to be so holy? In theory, and I'm saying in theory because some people will tell me that, yeah, but practically it's not like that. But in theory, it's because it has the Oren HaKodesh. And what has the Oren HaKodesh? There's Aseret HaDibros. So it is the Aseret HaDibros is the reason why this is a Kodesh HaKadoshim. Where the Aseret HaDibros lay is the place where it lays is the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So you have to start opposite, not going like that, but actually you start this. Where is the Aseret HaDibros? Aseret HaDibros is in a box. It is in a room. That room is Kodesh HaKadoshim. The room that circles around that room is the Heichol. This is called the Heichol, and then you enter the Azor, and then you have the Arabais, and then Yerushalayim, and then you have Eretz Yisrael. So basically, all is about the Aseret HaDibros. So the reason why the Kedusha is there is because Aseret HaDibros that are there, and the reason why the whole Tahara is in the Kotchim that you bring in the Beis HaMikdash, which has the Aseret HaDibros. As we see in Mishkan Shiloh, the moment that the Luchos were gone, the whole Mishkan Shiloh disappeared. There was no reason anymore to keep it in the Mishkan Shiloh, seemingly that as long as the Oren is there, we have as long as the Oren is there, the Kedusha is there. So if there is no Oren, there is no Kedusha. And so people ask me the question, yes, but what about the second Beis HaMikdash where there was no Oren? It's true. On the other hand, what replaced the Oren is a Chiddush of mine as well. What replaced the Oren is the Sanhedrin. So the Sanhedrin replaces the Oren, which the Sanhedrin doesn't seem to be in the first Beis HaMikdash. I don't have a proof for it yet, but I believe that only the second Beis HaMikdash, Ishkas HaKozis, was actually to replace to give the Kedusha to the Beis HaMikdash. And this was the Sanhedrin. So it was the engine that gives the Kedusha around. That's why it was Ishkas HaKozis, Mamish by the Kodesh HaKadoshim on the side, which kind of went over in order to feed the Kedusha into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. But in any case, so if that's true, if that's how we should look at it, that it is the Aseret HaDibros that creates the Kedusha, and then the further you go, the less Kedusha there is, and the Kotchim and the Mikdash are related, all looking at the Aseret HaDibros, and also the Tahara, the Tumah that exists, is also related to the fact that there is a Avodas HaMikdash that cannot be done by Tumah, and that everything that the Isur, the problem that I have when I'm Tumah is only I'm not allowed to eat Kotchim. And even you could say Truma, but also Truma is also part of the Kotchim that the Kohen is eating, and the Kohen is the one that has to make the Avodas HaMikdash. It's always related at the end of the day to the Mikdash. And therefore, then, since the Mikdash is Aseret HaDibros, it makes sense that the Aseret HaDibros will not mention something that is outside of himself. So afterwards, the Torah can mention that this Aseret HaDibros where it is, the places where the closer it is, then you should keep it betahara, only Kohanim should do it, etc. And the whole idea is Avodas Hamikdash doesn't have a place in the Aseret HaDibros, because that's something which is the Aseret HaDibros is the cause. So it does not make sense to write things that he himself is a cause of an effect. So to write hilchas of the effect in the cause is a bit strange, would be a bit strange, that the Aseret HaDibros would include haluchas that is related to the whole existence of the Aseret HaDibros himself. It's similar a little bit. It's not exactly the same, and it's not at all the same. But it's the shaila is usaftem al mezuzah is besecho v'sharecho. Do you have to put that posuk also on a mezuzah? Some say, or would have said that no, that you don't have to put that posuk because that's already talking about himself. To talk about yourself does not make sense to put it in a mezuzah. That's not the chiyuv. The chiyuv is to put the text which you have to put by the mezuzah. Kisaftum al mezuzah is already the haluchos of the mezuzah himself, and so that's not part of the mezuzah, and so not the Aseret HaDibros would not make sense to write about the Aseret HaDibros something because it speaks about himself. That's something that from a third party can speak about Aseret HaDibros, but he should not speak about it himself. That's a chiddush that I wanted to introduce to you. I spoke about that in 3 years ago, also on Shavuos, and so I hope to hear some comments if possible. Have a good week, and we should be zorged to kule shleme meer om je meen om mee.